So Bryan, you've been with Linden Thomas for many years, came over from banking, deal a lot in the client service and monitoring. Talk to us a little bit about the difference from where you came from and what you've seen here at Linden Thomas.
Sure. One of the things was, going from a very large corporation where you really don't have any sense of that relationship with the client to coming here where the emphasis is so much about the client experience and the service culture. That's really what drew me to Linden Thomas Company. So with our typical client, there are a certain amount of activities that we're going to want to go through each year. And so at the beginning of the year, we set out and we formulate a plan for each client, and we work with them through that plan. So I'll give you an example. Take cash flow or distribution needs, okay? Each year, we want to look at that, look back at what the client did the previous year, see if there's any changes that the client has that we need to make for the current year. For example, do they now have a required minimum distribution that they have to factor into that cash flow? We work through that process at the beginning of the year so we can set up a monthly or quarterly distribution process for them so that they know their income is going to come to them in a consistent manner, and by the end of the year, if they had something to satisfy, for example, that required minimum distribution, it'll be taken care of through that process. So that's one of the biggest advantages that I see working here is just that ability to work individually with our clients and set a plan and have a team that works together to make sure that that plan is completed by the end of the year.
So Bryan, I noticed Linden Thomas has a lot of recognition from Barron's and Forbes and Financial Times, a lot of positive Google reviews, many times that you don't see in this industry. Talk to us about what you hear from the clients. What are some of the greatest things that you hear your clients say?
Sure. What I think about when you ask that question is I think about our culture. It's interesting, often we'll hear from our clients, they think that, we're going to have voicemail, or that they'll, hey, where do I call to leave a message for you? Well, we have a team that constantly answers the phone all day long, okay? We're always available for the client, and if we can't get to them right away, if we're with another client, we're going to call them back within an hour, okay? Another thing that I find interesting is often they'll call in at the end of the day thinking maybe that we've left. Well, we're all here 7:30 in the morning, we're here till 5:30 in the evening time. We're working for the client. We want to make sure that we get things done properly. We want to make sure that we get things done right the first time. If it's through that process that we get the accolades, that's great. But we're here to service the client. It's all about our culture, and it's all about our teamwork.
So Bryan, a lot of the clients that come over to Linden Thomas do so from other firms. What do you think the biggest difference that those clients experience here as opposed to where they were at?
Sure. I think once you get beyond the initial setup of the portfolio, what they find out is it's the ongoing monitoring of the portfolio, okay? It's the desire to give them the best results through their portfolio. It's the ability to always stress test the portfolio at any time and make sure that we're looking at, are you taking enough risk? Do you want to take less risk? This is something that they're not used to going through, once they have their portfolio set up. It's about educating the clients and transparency, so they fully understand what they're invested in, the positions that they hold, why they hold those positions. It's that overall emphasis on the due diligence with the client that they really have never experienced before.
When we start out with a client, we want to set the goal, we want to understand the goal, but we also, on the flip side of that, we want to make sure that the portfolio construction is focused on trying to meet that goal.